Hello guys, welcome back to JANGAL Forum. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. So today we will talk about the Korean government scholarship, which is the GKS, otherwise called as Korean Global Scholarship, something like that. So as you can see, this is the website where you can have information regarding to study in Korea. So today we will talk about their government scholarship. As you see, these are the list of scholarships that have been offered by them. But here we are interested to this portion, which is the Global Korean Scholarship or Global Korea Scholarship. So we're just gonna click this thing and take you through to some of the information that have been provided for students or aspirants who want to study in Korea. So as you can see, this is just the purpose of the program, is to provide an international students with opportunities to conduct advanced studies in undergraduate and graduate programs at higher educational institutions in the Republic of Korea in order to promote international exchange in education and mutual friendship between countries. So if you can see, this is very important, mutual friendship between countries. So this is diplomatic ties from one country to another country. For instance, if a country that has a diplomatic tie with Korea, so the citizen of that very country might be awarded such scholarship in order to smoothen or to bring a conducive friendship among themselves. Those are diplomatic things. So without wasting much time, we're just gonna go ahead with the available options in universities. You have undergraduate program, which is 4 years at the designated universities. You have transfer between universities is not allowed. So as you know, some of the students, they choose programs and they didn't like the program they choose. So I advise you to choose keenly and be very careful of the program you're going to choose or the university you might choose. So in case you didn't like the program you choose or the university you choose, there's no alternative of changing to another university. So take note of that, please. And you have the graduate courses. You have master's or PhD courses at general graduate schools of Korean universities. So in later on, I will provide a list of universities whereas you can apply, and the programs whereas is what we call embassy track. So as you can see, these are the number of applicants who are needed to be awarded this scholarship: 220. And 1,080 graduate students subject to change with any change depending on budget. So it varies. It changes as it depends on their annual budget or sort of things like that. So here, if you see, guarantees are required to take Korean language courses for 1 year. So if you awarded this scholarship, take note, you have to study Korean language 1 year. So one thing is very important is this people, they give you the scholarship in order to strengthen or to sell or market their culture. So it's important. So take note, if you're applying for this program, know that you will study 1 year of Korean language, irrespective of the program you're going to do or your degree. It's either PhD, master's or whatever, you will learn Korean language for 1 good year. For instance, if you're studying a bachelor's degree and BSc is 4 year, so it means you have to do the Korean language prior to your normal programs. That is literally 4-5 good years of studies. So take note of that. That is clear. So as you can see, this is application procedures. These are the timelines, but it varies as well. So it varies. As you can see, these are the information if you check correctly. And if you can see, this is the scholarship benefits, whereas it's in their Korean currencies. Yeah. So this is the airfare. Airfare is actual. As you know, some airlines, they have different ways of pricing depending on countries or airlines agencies. So the cost is actual. It's not something that is like an estimated amount. It's just an actual cost. So there's nothing a specific amount being indicated here. But the resettlement allowance is 200,000. As you can see, living allowance is 900,000 to 1 million. It depends on the city you're going to live in Korea. If you're living in Seoul or whatsoever. As you can see, this is the medical insurance. Is 20,000 per month. Every month they will give you an amount of this. If you use it, it's up to you. If you didn't use it, it's up to you. So you have a language course. So the language course is called the preparatory course, which is 1 year. Upon completion, they will give you your certificate of what we call a topic certificate, TOPIK, something like that. And this is the tuition fee. The tuition fee is actual. It depends on the program you're gonna do, but it shouldn't exceed 5 million. Their Korean currencies, literally per semester. And you have award for excellence Korean language proficiency. If you complete the program, they will give you this amount of money. That is 100,000 in their currency. You have a research support if you're a PhD student, or most probably a PhD student, they will give you a research support. But if you observe, this is the range from 210 to 240,000 in their current. It shouldn't exceed this thing, so take note of that. And this is the printing cost for like dissertation, if you're writing a dissertation and other stuff. So 500 to 800,000. So literally the difference is, I think, is 300,000. So yeah. So you shouldn't exceed this thing as well. And you have a completion grant. Wow. So completion grant is, if you complete your study, they will give you this amount plus your return air ticket to your home country. So yeah, some, you need to be frank, some scholarships don't have what you call a completion grant. So yeah, at least it's kind of advantageous. So both an applicant and his or her parent must be a citizen of their country of origin. So if you're from Ghana, it means your mother and your father should be a citizen of that very country. If your mother or your father is not a citizen of that very country, so it means you're not eligible. So take note. An applicant should have adequate health, both mentally and physically, to stay in a foreign country for a long period of time. So you have to be mentally fit, physically and mentally as well. So your health status has to be very good. You shouldn't be more than 25 years. It means 25 years under if you're going for undergraduate. And if you're going for a graduate level, you shouldn't be over 40 years. So please take note of that. And you have finished or be scheduled to finish formal education of all elementary, middle, high school courses by the date of arrival. That's undergraduate. Yeah. And you should have a GPA of 80%. Yeah, in your alma mater, I mean your previous school. And you should, for people who are going for, or students who are going for masters, you should have a bachelor's degree before your arrival. So take note of that. And applicants who have previously achieved in any undergraduate programs, master's program or doctoral program in Korean cannot apply. So if your previous school was in Korea, so it means you're not eligible. So take note of that, please. Yeah. However, a former or a current GKS scholarship hold the overall grade of 90% or above and have obtained the topic level can they apply. So if you have, if you were a scholar, or it means at least a scholarship awardee, in these tracks and other stuff, then you can apply again with a level of this. That's their language proficiency in Korea. So take note of that. Now we're gonna just go to the procedures. As you see, this is their agency that's invite the Korean embassy in the invited country or a domestic university to reckon potential candidates. So they are responsible of selecting candidates. So there's nothing like nomination and other stuff. Sometimes it's required for your university to nominate you, but if you don't have such alternatives or such chances, you can just submit your documents directly to the designated embassy nearby your home country or your home country as well. So applicants should submit all documents related to their scholarship application to the Korean embassy, as I said. So if you have to submit your documents, you have to photocopy them, authenticate them, and from there you submit it in person nearby Korean embassy in your home country. The Korean embassy or the domestic university sends proper candidates to this agency, that is NITE, with required documents. So after submitting your document, so without wasting my time, since the application is a long procedure, so we're just gonna go straight to the portion where it indicates for more information. So as you can see, you have some list of information here. Some of the information are not needed. Later I will provide the link of this website in my description YouTube button. So as you can see, these are the information. This is the important notice revision of, that is the available departments. So I will provide the departments. I already downloaded the information, so I will show it to you. Some of them are available in Microsoft Word and some of them are available in Excel form. So as you can see, this is the available department, that is the National Seoul National University, and you have, these are the departments here, available university. This is university, and each available department is being indicated too. So this, as you can see, this is the application guideline for Korean scholarship for undergraduates, and this is the application guideline for Korean scholarship for graduates. So I would just take you through to the scholarship guideline for undergraduates. As you can see, this is the form. This is the form for the undergraduates. If you observe very well, so this is the form for the undergraduates. If you observe, these are the information that somebody has to fill. So you have to take note of this. These are the information. Please, whatever information you fill, so you just have to indicate check. Please, yeah. Please take note of that. So if you observe, the form is case sensitive, so you can write your name here. For example, if you're writing your name, after writing your name, you just have to remove this. Just have to remove this. You can just remove this. If you already wrote your name, just remove this. If you have full name and middle name, just write. So if you see here, checklist, submission of documents, please check in the appropriate box. So if you use Microsoft Word, you have this kind of symbols, check. So you just have to come to, I think you have to come to insert, something like that. If you come to insert, or I don't know, if you come to insert, something like that. So you can just insert some of this information there. So it's available, yeah. So as you can see, these are the information that are needed. You should provide a complete application form, a personal statement. You should provide a study plan. One letter of recommendation letter from a university lecturer or from your tutor or supervisor or whosoever might be, but you shouldn't have any relationship to that person, so take note of that. As you can see, these are the information. Please, you can just try to go over them and try to provide them, in an appropriate time. So if you observe, this is the university, this application, whereas if you fill all these things, then it means you have to come, up and, indicate whatever you put in there. So this is just a checklist, whereas you have to fill. So it means every information you're going to put here, it has to correspond to this person. So take note of that, please. So here, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of too fast. So as you can see, you don't have a Korean citizenship, you just can indicate no. So you see, if you observe, I click no, it gives me what we call a check mark. So applicants' parents, if any of your parents has Korean citizenship, check yes, no, you don't have. So you see, the form is case sensitive. So if you're a male, you just have to indicate this, just click yes. And if you print this thing, it's just going to be very beautiful. If you have a passport size photo, you can upload it, but take note, it's 3 centimeter by 4 centimeter. And to tell you, in most cases, they required a white background. So it's not bad. If you have a passport size photo, which is in a soft copy, just copy it and paste it here. So drag it nicely, let your form be very nice, please. Fill it in a very professional manner. You have to be very legible and in whatever you're doing. At least it can be something that can be readable. So as you can see, this is the language abilities. If you have their topic level, it means you're just going directly to your program without being given the foundation course. So if you have the certificate, you can just go straight. But if you don't have, you just have to leave this blank. And also, if you have, that is the TOEIC. If you have TOEFL, if you have IELTS, then you can just indicate one of them. For instance, if you have the OIC, you can indicate the score, maybe this and that. TOEFL and do IELTS, if you have 7.6 or whatsoever, just indicate this, then you're good. As you can see, this is the level of education, high school programs. So you have to indicate your school, the location, country. It means location, which country where you attended, did you attend your university or your high school, sorry. For what period? For example, if from 2011 to 2015, please indicate 20, like for example, the reason why this is kind of thing, because they use an example, you can just indicate 2011, then just do this in 2015. You can just write 2015, then you're good. So you see, so, and you can just put in bracket, let's say you put this, say grade 11 or 11 grade 11, then you indicate 12th grade. Then from there you close your bracket, you're good. So for educational purpose, I just decided to make some edit in the form, so for you to understand. So please, So here is if you required for applicants who have associate degree. So if you have an associate degree, in most cases it's very rare to see somebody who have an associate degree in most of the, especially if you graduate from Africa, most of those areas they don't award associate degree. So maybe countries like United States, they award what we have called associate degree. In most cases that is 3 years or so and so, or even 4.5 or so and so, depending on the university. So universities have their own rules, and they are autonomous in most cases. So it's not bad if you don't have. So as you can see, this is information of academic transcript. If you have a transcript, cumulative of previous program, indicate on your transcript school report. Yeah, so every information has to tally with the, the information you provide. So this is the percentile. So if your transcript, you have a percentile of, let's say, 98, that it means 98 of 100. So take note of that. I don't know but for like, if for example, my transcript, I have a similar thing like a percentile. So yeah, if you have a transcript which is similar to this, you can, or similar to the other one, you can just indicate the percentile. And take note, percentage is always 100. So obviously, it means your percentage shouldn't be more than 100. Even if you have 99.9 or whatsoever, just indicate this. You don't need to write like percentage so and so, because the percentage is already there. You don't need to put percentage. So just indicate this thing because it's always indicated, or it's already indicated. GPA indicated on your academic transcript. If you observe here, this is year 1 and 2, your first year, year 1 and 2, your second year 1 and 2, you see. So you can provide all this information. So this is 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or 4 year. So if you spend 3 years in senior secondary school, you can just provide this thing. I mean for undergraduate students. So yeah, and if you may modify the column as well. If you observe here, if you drag. So I am trying to expand the column. So what it says here, if needed, you may modify the column. So you can just modify the column for for any information and other stuff is not even be fitted inside the form. So it's not a problem. And the way you're going to print it is going to be very beautiful. So choice of university and department. So I will provide the department, for example, here. Like, for example, if you're going for university, let me check here. I have the list of universities. Exactly. So this is a general department. So if you observe, this is Pohang University of Science and Technology. Its location is Pohang. So if you check here, this is the university. So you say, let's say if you say Pohang, okay, Pohang University of Science and Technology, University of Science and Technology. So what are you gonna study? So you check here. This is the field of study. These are your field of studies. These are the divisions. If you're studying like engineering, you can just indicate what course are you going to do in engineering, because this is just division. But as you can see, this is for master students. This is for master students, as you can see. So literally the information is kind of similar. The only difference is the level, that is masters and bachelors. But this is a general track. This is a university, embassy, available department for embassy track or any university track. So take note of that. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to check some information here. Okay. So as you can see, you can just departments. If you are at the if you're at computer science and engineering, so this one, you can just copy the information. Just copy it and come here and just paste it. Field of study. Sorry, and you come here this is the department. Okay, sorry, I just made a mistake. There's a mistake I did. So this thing is the department. This is the department. So if you're studying like computer science, you can just cut this thing, just indicate computer science. Other majors, if you have another major, you can just say, let's say networking or computer application or other stuff. You can just indicate it here. Let's say computer applications. So you can just indicate it. So take note of that. For educational purposes or tutorials or guidelines for this, I decided to put some information at least for you to strengthen your understanding how to fill the form. The form is kind of tricky, but in as much as you feel it, in the appropriate way, you don't have to have any problem. So your previous visit to Korea, currently reside in Korea, if you don't have any experience, just leave it blank. They know that, yeah. Please put your visa type typically when you are currently residing in Korea. So yes, if you don't have anything like that, please do not worry yourself, just leave it blank. And previous receives scholarship from Korean government or institution, if you don't have, please leave it blank. Yeah. And as you can see, the answers I have given above are true and correct to the best of my knowledge. This is an attestation or an acknowledgement, whereas you just have to, you have to indicate the date. If you observe here, this is case sensitive. For example, today is on the 21st. So you can just write 21st and, your this and 2022. So you can just write your full name and something like that. So for example, you can just write your full name, and here this is a signature. So in case of signature, some people cannot put in an electronic signature. So if you cannot put an electronic signature, it's not a problem. What you're gonna do is fill in your name, write your full name, then you print the form out. If you print the form out, sign the form and attach it with your documents, then submit it. It's not a problem. So as you can see, please type in Korean or in English. So there is a criteria here, whereas it's very important. I will not even spend much time here because the form is lengthy and I have to provide some other information. So you should provide a Roman. This is the font size, which is Roman, and 11 point. So that is the size 11. So if you observe here, my size is 9. So you're gonna choose 11 here. And if you want to choose like a Roman size, you can just click here and type ROMAN. You understand? You see, Roman. So it is asking me for change the form, but I don't want it. So take note of that. Take note of that, please. So the form is motivation which you apply for this program, educational background, your significant experience you have had, persons, events that have had a significant influence on you. So explain that. Extracurricular activities such as club activities, community services, or work experience. If you have, please put them in detail and explain yourself. How capable you are, how competent you are, how ethical you are, how professional you are, all those kind of stuff. And if you have any publications or sort of things like that, you can just put. And if you have any skills, you can just put, please. Yeah. And you but take note, you shouldn't exceed, this thing. So take note of that. You can expand it though, but make sure do not mess up with the form, please. I plead at you, please. And if you can observe here, this is the study plan and a language study plan. Please indicate which language you want to study. Is obviously maybe you were just gonna go for English, but take note of that. Prior to English, you will study Korean language, which is mandatory. So as you can see, the goal of your study plan, and this is the future of your study plan. So yeah, and here this is the recommendation portion. That is the form 4. And please take note, whatever information you feel, you have to acknowledge that information you put in is correct and to the best of your knowledge. So please take note of that. So this portion, you can just write your full name, and this is going to be your family name, your last name, and you can just write here your full name. You can just write your citizenship here. If you're from, let's say, Ghana, you can just indicate Ghana. You understand? If you're going for like a master's or bachelor's, the reason why the form here is indicating two stuff here, because the undergraduate degree falls in two categories. It falls on a bachelor's degree and it falls on the associate degree. So if you're going for associate degree, you can just indicate this. If you're going for bachelor's, just tick it. Like I said before, let's say if you're doing intended major is computer science, you can just write this. You can just write this. So this. So yeah, you're good. So you can just put computer science, and maybe I have to put this in capital because science is just, a name of its own. And this is the recommenders portion. This portion has to be filled by the recommender. Please take note of that. So take note of that. So how long have you known the applicant and in what relationship? What are applicants' capabilities, strengths, and weakness in regards to academic achievement, passion, and interest for intended major future academic potential, integrity, responsibility, independence, and so on. So these questions has to be answered by the recommender. So he or she will answer these questions and portray everything to towards your achievements or your character and conduct as well. So take note of that. I mean, this information has to be provided by the recommender, so take note of that. This person, we're gonna write everything and attach it. So please, we'll write everything and attach this thing with what he or she provided for you, because this is just a form of sheet, whereas his or her personal details will be there. In case of anything, they will contact. So take note, this information has to be checked. If you can see, it's case sensitive, so the moment I click, it's check. So you just have to be doing this. But I advise you, if you're using this thing, try to have an updated Microsoft Word. At least that can help you. So check everything, because that's their law. You have to accept their laws. So you have to check everything. And here, as you can see, if you don't agree, then they will not even proceed to your application. So please, you have to agree. Just click that, it will. And the same thing, just agree. Agree. You see, 1 year for hard copy, 20 years for soft copy. So they will keep this information for in case of database, record keeping and other stuff. So please, as I said before, this is your date, year. Put like here, let's say 2022. Sorry, you can just put 2022. If you're done, maybe you can just copy it and bring it down. I think there's an option for that. And you just have to write your name. If you cannot sign electronically, you can just print the form out and sign manually, please. I advise you to do that, I think, yeah. So as you can see, personal medical assessment. So if you're not okay, or if you're okay, you can just indicate, like, have you ever had an infectious disease that pose a health risk to public, something like that. If you have, for example, tuberculosis, if you don't have, just please write no. If you don't have, don't worry yourself about this person, just leave it blank, because it says if yes. If you have, then you have to explain. So yeah, the same thing applies to this. I'm sorry, I was kind of skipping. So if you're a male, indicate male. Yeah, so as you can see, I have some missing files for these, these Microsoft Word, this Korean stuff, so that's why it's asking this. So you have to indicate your height. If you're like, let's say your height, if you are like 180.6, just write this. If you're 89 kg.2, just write this. You're good. For educational purposes, I just decided to put this thing maybe for you to understand the form thoroughly. So you can see. So from there, if you're done with everything, you just have to put the date here. You have to start with your month, your month and date, the name of the applicant's full name, your first name and your last name. If you cannot sign electronically, you can just print the form out and sign manually. So we're just gonna go to the form for the for the graduate level. These are the graduate. As you can see, this is just similar to the one we just read a while ago. So as you can see, the difference is here, academic background. Because since for bachelor's you don't have what we call bachelor's degree, because you're going for it, you're yet to have it. But for graduate, you already have it, so you have to provide it. The same thing here. What was your major and what was your previous degree? And degree thesis title, if available. If, for example, in my case here, you have to write what we call a dissertation. Some other countries, they don't do if you're going for bachelor's. So if you don't have, it's not a problem, because if it is available. If you publish any book or any research papers, please provide. And if you have any award, you can just provide. It's not a problem. For master's degree required for doctoral research program, so these two things are involved here. If you're going for doctoral, please, you have to provide your previous degree of your master's. So please take note of that. Take note of that, like I explained before. So these are the embassy tracks, choice of university and department. So the list of the universities are here. I think I have the list of the universities. I have to provide them. So as you can see, this is the list of the universities. Let me just zoom it a bit. As you can see, University of Foreign Studies, this is Busan, it's located in Busan. In my video, I'll provide the list of available universities for undergraduate program. So do not worry about that. So as you can see, this is the previous Korean. If you don't have, please leave it blank. And as you can see, This is very important, so you just have to tick this. So it's very important, please take note of that. So as you can see here, all this information, your personal statement, the same thing applies to the previous one. It's just some minor changes, whereas this is your research proposal, your research topic, what are the objectives, put your detail in the research plan, put them in details, and your research methodology and your expected results for the research, research timetable. You have a recommender, so provided like it applies to the undergraduate level as well. You see, it is put in a colored form. For the recommenders of embassy tract, please print out or make 3 additional copies of the letter you write and sign all copies. When in original, 3 copies respectively. Please enclose all letters in this form all together in an official envelope across the back flap. That is for the recommender, so take note of that. So as you can see, applicant's letter of invitation, like the form is required for the research program applicant only made and must be completed by the staff or faculty of the inviting university. So if you're applying by an invited university, please, they should fill this form. I will provide the list of a number where as you can communicate to a university who can be your professor and sort of things like that. So as it applies to the undergraduate programs, you can just have to tick this all information. So please, yeah. So yeah, I think these informations are enough, and these are the list of universities. Again, as you can see, I will provide all this information, in my description button. So yeah, so this was the video I have for you today. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much.